So next I am going to solve 2. So hello students, I am Sai Baba here. So I am going to next discuss about horizontal oscillations of a mass attached to the spring in simple harmonic motion. First I discuss the theory part. Later I will show you the notes. So you just now first concentrate only to listen. Don't write running notes when I am explaining. I will show you the notes later separately. So let us consider a block of mass m connected to one end of an elastic ideal spring with force constant K. As I discussed about the elastic potential energy, concept of elastic potential energy in the chapter work power energy already. The spring is said to be an ideal spring if it obeys Hooke's law. That means here one end of the spring is connected to a rigid support. If one end of spring is connected to a rigid support, and if a stretching force is applied at the free end of the spring, we can say that the spring obeys Hooke's law if the elongation of spring is proportional to the stretching force applied. So if one end of a spring is connected to a rigid support, and if a stretching force is applied at the free end of the spring, if the spring is elastic in nature, and then the elongation of spring will be proportional to the stretching force applied. So you can call the spring as an ideal spring when the elongation produced in the spring is proportional to the stretching force applied at the free end of the spring. So let us consider block of mass m resting on the smooth horizontal floor, which is connected to one end of an elastic ideal spring of force constant K. Initially the spring is unstretched. That means neither stretched nor compressed. Then no elastic force is exerted by the spring on the block. There are only two forces acting on the block. One is its weight mg, and second one is the normal reaction force exerted on the block by the smooth floor. It acts perpendicular to surface of the floor in contact and directed away from surface of the floor in contact. So the weight mg of the block is balanced by the normal reaction force on the block. Now suppose if the block is pulled towards right, through some distance from the equilibrium position. In the first figure, I have shown the equilibrium position of the block. So equilibrium position of the block means the position of the block at which the resultant force on the block becomes 0. Now let us suppose the block is pulled towards right through some distance from this equilibrium position and released. So I am considering the situation just after it is released. I am considering the subsequent motion of the block under the action of the elastic force by spring. So I have shown the instant when the block is at a distance x from its equilibrium position. That means the displacement of the block from the equilibrium position in this example, same as elongation of spring from its natural length. So in the vertical direction, as explained before, the weight mg of the block is balanced by the normal reaction force. So the only unbalanced force acting on the block in the horizontal direction is elastic force by the spring. That kept left denote the elastic force exerted by the spring on the block. If the spring is an ideal spring, then this elastic force by the spring is proportional to elongation of spring from its natural length. From the figure, you can observe that it acts opposite to the elongation x from the natural length. So we can write F proportional to minus x, or F equal to minus kx. Here K is elastic force constant of spring. So when the block is pulled towards right from the equilibrium position to some distance and released, then at the instant when the block is at the distance x from the equilibrium position, the resultant force on the block is same as elastic force exerted by the spring. Because in the vertical direction, as explained before, the weight mg of the block is balanced by the normal reaction force. So the resultant force on the block same as elastic force by spring, which can be written as equal to minus kx. So the resultant force of the block at any instant is proportional to the displacement of the block from its equilibrium position, but acts opposite to the displacement of the block from the equilibrium position. That means the condition for simple harmonic motion is satisfied. Therefore, the block will perform linear simple harmonic motion. Now, from Newton's second law, the instantaneous acceleration of the block is equal to resultant force of the block by mass of the block. You can write minus kx by m. So k is a constant for a given spring, m is a constant for a given block. So the ratio k by m is a constant for a given spring mass system. So the instantaneous acceleration of the block is proportional to the displacement of the block from its equilibrium position, but acts opposite to the displacement of the block from equilibrium position. Therefore, the block performs simple harmonic motion. But acceleration of the body in SHM is given by minus omega square into x. And omega is the angular frequency of oscillations. So you can write here A equal to minus omega square x, which you can write minus kx by m. So you get omega square equal to k by m, or omega is equal to square root of k by m. So the time period of simple harmonic oscillations is given by 2 pi by omega, or 2 pi into root of m by k. You can observe that the time period of simple harmonic motion does not depend on the value of acceleration due to gravity at the given place. For example, if the spring mass system shown in the figure is taken from one place to a different place where the acceleration due to gravity has a different value, and the time period of simple harmonic oscillations for given mass and given spring system of given block and spring remains same. That means the time period of simple harmonic motion of spring mass system is independent of the value of acceleration due to gravity at the given place. Again, look at the figure I have shown. The first figure on the left side at the top, the block is in the equilibrium position. Suppose if the block is originally at rest in the equilibrium position, it is pulled towards right from this equilibrium position by a distance of 1 centimeter and released from rest. Then it performs simple harmonic motion with an amplitude of 1 centimeter. Suppose if the oscillations are stopped, so that the block is again at rest in the original equilibrium position, where spring has its natural length L0. Now suppose if the block is pulled towards right by a distance of 2 centimeters from this equilibrium position and released from rest on the smooth floor. Then it performs simple harmonic motion with an amplitude of 2 centimeters, but with the same time period. That means the time period of simple harmonic motion is independent of amplitude of oscillations. Not only in the present example, in any example in linear simple harmonic motion, the time period of simple harmonic motion is independent of the amplitude of oscillations. I mean, in the case of undamped simple harmonic motions and linear simple harmonic motion, which we discussed at present, the time period of SHM is independent of amplitude of oscillations. So I am now going to show you the notes for the discussion I have done so far in this class. So look at the screen here. First I am showing you the conclusion directly. So after the first you can copy the conclusion. Later I will show you the working for the conclusion. I will once read out the conclusion. The one end of an ideal spring is fixed to rigid support. The mass M is attached to the free end of spring. And the time period of simple harmonic motion is independent of the value of acceleration due to gravity at the given place, which is given by C equal to 2.√ m by k. Come on, finish copying here. So if you want to copy the conclusion, you can take a pause and copy the conclusion. I would like to show the notes continuation to this. Here K is the elastic force constant of spring. So I would like to also show the same diagram which I have drawn in the earlier figure. So those who are copying the notes, please copy this diagram also. So I advise every student to write the notes systematically for each chapter he prepares, because you will improve or learn the subject only when you write the notes. You should have writing practice. I mean, you cannot read physics like a novel. So in the first figure, I have shown the block attached to one end of spring. The other end of spring is connected to the rigid wall or rigid support. The spring is having natural length in the first figure, that means unstretched. The second figure, I show the situation when the block is pulled towards right through some distance from the original equilibrium position and is released from rest. When it is released from rest, it will perform simple harmonic motion. The second figure I have shown the instant when the block is at distance x from the equilibrium position. So time period of SHM is independent of amplitude of oscillations. So here I am showing the working. The second figure, the resultant force on the block is same as the elastic force exerted by spring on block, which can be written as minus kx. So resultant force of the block is proportional to minus x. Therefore, block performs simple harmonic working. So those who are writing the notes, please take a pause and finish writing the notes. Next, I would like to show the continuation to this. Therefore, block performs SHM from Newton's second law. The instantaneous acceleration of the block is equal to resultant force of block by mass of block. The resultant force can be done minus kx. Mass of block denoted by m. But acceleration SHM is written in the form minus omega square into x, where x is the displacement from equilibrium position. So get omega square equal to k by m. Come on, all of you. You take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. Next, I am going to show the continuation, but to this, our omega is root of k by m. So time period of SHM is given by 2 pi by omega. You substitute omega equal to root of k by m, you get time period of SHM as 2 pi into root of m by k. Come on, take a pause and finish writing the notes till this step. Next, I am going to discuss about the vertical oscillations of a mass attached to the spring. So next, I am going to discuss about the vertical oscillations of a mass attached to a spring. Again, you please stop writing. Again, you concentrate to listen. Don't write running notes when I am explaining the theory part. I will show you the notes later. The typed form or the printed form or of the notes or PowerPoint presentation of the conclusions. I will show you the notes separately, then you can write the notes. Now you just concentrate only to listen. So in the present discussions we do about the spring mass system, it is understood that mass of spring is negligible compared to the mass of the block. So let us suppose one end of a elastic ideal spring is connected to a rigid support. Let L0 denote the natural length of spring. That means L0 represents the length of spring when no stretching force is applied at the free end of spring. Now let us suppose a block of mass m is suspended from the lower end of spring. Let us suppose the block is at rest in the equilibrium position. Let x subscript e denote the elongation of spring from its natural length when the suspended mass is in equilibrium. That means when the net force of suspended mass is 0. So one may get it out how vertical oscillations of mass attached to spring is different from the earlier discussion I have done. Earlier I have discussed about horizontal oscillations of a mass attached to spring. Now we are discussing about vertical oscillations of mass attached to spring. So in both the cases, same formula is applicable for time period of oscillations, but there is only one distinction. In the case of horizontal oscillations of mass attached to spring, which I discussed before this, in the equilibrium position of the mass, the spring has natural length L0. The spring had no elongation in the equilibrium position of the mass in the case of horizontal oscillations. But now, in the present discussion, in the case of vertical oscillation of mass attached to spring in the equilibrium position, the spring will have a length more than its natural length L0. The spring will have an elongation in the equilibrium position. In the case of horizontal oscillation, the mass attached to the spring, which I discussed earlier. The equilibrium position, the mass spring exerts no force on the block. But here, in the equilibrium position, the block spring exerts elastic force on the block. The magnitude of the elastic force exerted by the spring on the block can be written K times the elongation of spring from its natural length. K the elastic force constant of spring. The elastic force constant of spring numerically equal to stretching force required to produce unit elongation in the spring. So when the suspended mass stretches the spring downward, the suspended mass exerts a force on the spring in the downward direction. So the reaction force exerted by spring on the suspended mass, that is the elastic force by the spring on the block, acts upwards. The weight mg of the block acts vertically downward, which is the gravitational force of the block with that. So when the suspended mass is in equilibrium, equilibrium position means the position where resultant force of the block becomes zero. So in the equilibrium position, resultant force on the block in the upward direction equal to kxc minus mg. Don't write running notes, I'll show you the notes later. That is zero. That means k into xc equal to m into g, or m by k can be written as xc by g. So the ratio m by k can be written as x subscript e by g. X subscript e represents the elongation of spring from its natural length. That means the length of spring in the equilibrium position of the mass is L0 plus xc. Now suppose if the block is further pulled down below this equilibrium position. The block is suppose further pulled down below this equilibrium position. This is the equilibrium position of the block. So if the block is further pulled down below this equilibrium position by some distance and released, then we'll consider the situation after the block is released. That means the pulling force applied on the block by the external agent is withdrawn. Then at the instant when the block is at some distance x below the equilibrium position, then total elongation of spring from its natural length becomes x plus xc. Then magnitude of the elastic force by spring on the block can be written as k into x plus xc. Of course, the weight mg of the block acts vertically downwards. So in the first figure on the left side, I have shown the spring with no mass attached to it, that is the spring with a natural length L0, and there is no elongation. The second figure, I have shown the equilibrium position of the mass attached to the lower end of the vertical spring. Next, here represents the elongation spring when the suspended mass is in equilibrium. That means when the resultant force on the suspended mass is zero. In the third figure, I have shown the instant when the block is at some distance x below this equilibrium position. That means the block is further pulled down below this equilibrium position through some distance and released from rest. Then it performs vertical oscillations. It can be shown that these oscillations are simple harmonic. We are discussing the mathematical part for that. So elongation spring from its normal length at the instant when the block is a distance x from below the equilibrium position, k x plus xc. So magnitude of the elastic force by spring is k into x plus xc. So therefore, resultant force on the block at the instant So magnitude of the resultant force of the block at the instant shown in the third figure. That is, when the block is distance x below the equilibrium position, will be equal to magnitude of the elastic force by the spring minus magnitude of its weight mg, which you can write as kx plus kxe minus mg. Now you can write kxe equal to mg here. From this equation. So magnitude of the elastic, magnitude of the resultant force. Magnitude of the resultant force of the block at the instant when the block is distance x below the equilibrium position is equal to k into x, which acts upwards. Because k into xe equal to mg in magnitude, therefore k into x plus xe will be greater than mg. So when two forces act on a body in opposite directions, magnitude of the resultant force of the body is equal to difference in the magnitudes of the two forces. Direction of the resultant will be in the direction of the force with greater magnitude. So at the instant shown in the figure, resultant force acts upwards. Therefore, acceleration is also directed upwards. But displacement of the block from equilibrium position is downwards. That means the resultant force of the block acts opposite displacement x from equilibrium position, but proportional to the displacement x from equilibrium position. Therefore, the block performs simple harmonic motion. So from Newton's second law, result instantaneous acceleration of the block is equal to resultant force on the block by mass of the block. So resultant force on the block can be written as minus kx in this case, because it acts opposite to displacement x from equilibrium position. You can observe that the instantaneous acceleration of the block is proportional to the displacement x of the block from its equilibrium position, but acts opposite to the displacement of the block from the equilibrium position. Therefore, the block performs simple harmonic. The acceleration of the block in SHM can be written as minus omega square x. So rest of the calculation is similar to the horizontal discussion we have done in the case of horizontal oscillations of the mass attached to the spring. So if you cancel minus x both sides, you get omega square equal to k by m, or omega is the root of k by m. The time period of SHM is given by 2 pi by omega. So that comes out to be 2 pi into root of m by k. You substitute this value of omega here. Same formula I have discussed even in the case of horizontal oscillations of mass attached to the spring. But in some of the problems, in vertical oscillation of mass attached to the spring, we write m by k equal to xe by g. You may not be given the mass m or elastic force constant of spring. You may be directly given the value of xe. You can write m by k equal to xe by g. So time period of oscillations, vertical oscillations of spring mass system, given by 2 pi root of m by k, you can also write 2 pi xe by g, where x is the elongation of spring from its natural length in the equilibrium position of the block. Remember that xe is not the amplitude of oscillations. X is the elongation of spring in its natural length. So I would like to show you the notes for same, that means the same discussion. I would like to show you the notes for the same discussion. So those who are writing notes, again get ready with your notebook and pen. So come on, look at the screen. First I have shown the conclusion directly. Later I will show you the working behind the conclusion. I am going to read out the conclusion. If the upper end, of course you have to put the heading vertical oscillator mass attached to the spring. The upper end of an ideal elastic vertical spring of force constant K is connected to rigid support. The mass capital M is attached to its lower end. The time period of simple harmonic oscillations in the vertical direction is given by k equal to 2 root of m by k. As explained before, m by k can be written as xe by g. So it can also write time period as 2 root of xe by g. So you can take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. Like to show the continuation to this. This is a figure. Here L0 represents the natural length of spring when no mass is attached to it. Xe is the elongation of spring from the natural length in the equilibrium position of the mass. At the lowest position, in the bottom figure I have shown this is the position of the block at the lowest position, where the velocity of the block becomes 0. That means I am now considering the subsequent motion of the block after it is released from rest. That means we assume that the block is originally at rest in the equilibrium position. It is suppose further pulled down by some distance below the equilibrium position and then released from rest so that it oscillates vertically. The lowest position of the block from where it is released corresponds to where it is from rest during each velocity. That can be taken as one of the extreme positions for oscillations. And distance between the equilibrium position. The equilibrium position can be taken as the mean position for oscillation. The equilibrium position of the block can be considered as the mean position for oscillations. The lowest position of the block during the vertical oscillation can be considered one of the extreme positions. In the oscillations, distance between the equilibrium position and one of the extreme positions gives you the magnitude of the displacement amplitude, which are denoted by capital A. So in some of the numerical examples, you may be asked to find the maximum elongation of spring from its natural length. The maximum elongation of spring from its natural length is equal to xe plus A. Xe is the elongation of the spring in the equilibrium position of the block, and A is the magnitude of displacement amplitude, which is the distance between the equilibrium position and one of the extreme positions. So the whole discussion we are doing is valid only when the maximum elongation of spring you can correct the spelling elongation ELON, GATION is within the elastic limit. So come on, first you finish this conclusion. I think you have copied the conclusion. In case you have not copied the conclusion, take a pause and copy the conclusion. I'd like to show the notes continuation to this, where Xe is the elongation of spring in its equilibrium position. So in the equilibrium, resultant for the block is equal to Kxe minus mg, that can be taken as 0. Come on, copy down. Or the continuation can write Kxe equal to mg. Come on, all of you finish writing up to here. Can take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. I would like to show the continuation to this. So you can write Xe by g equal to m by k. It's already written. Kxe equal to mg in magnitude in the equilibrium position, or Xe by g equal to m by k. So Kx equal to mg in magnitude in equilibrium position. That you call it equation number 1, or Xe by g equal to m by k. When it is a distance x below the equilibrium position, as explained earlier, Magnitude of the resultant force of the block is equal to K into magnitude of the elastic force by spring, which acts in the upward direction. So at the particular instant, when the block is at some distance x below the equilibrium position, the elongation of spring from natural length will be x plus xc, and magnitude of elastic force of the spring will be K into x plus xc. The weight mg of the block acts downward. So magnitude of the resultant for the block in the upward direction. You can write K into x plus xc minus mg. You can write kx plus kxc minus mg. You can write kx equal mg from first equation. So if you write kx equal to mg from first equation, mg gets cancelled. You get magnitude of the resultant force equal to k into x. Come on, take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. Next, I would like to do the continuation. I would like to show the notes for continuation to this. So resultant for the block can be written as minus kx because the resultant force acts opposite to the displacement from equilibrium position. Displacement x from equilibrium position is downward, but resultant force acts upwards. So okay, I have put a negative sign to indicate that resultant force acts opposite displacement x from equilibrium position. From Newton's second law, the instantaneous acceleration you can write resultant force of block by mass, that is minus kx by m. That you can write minus omega square into x in simple harmonic motion. So you get instantaneous acceleration proportional to minus x. So omega square is k by m. So you get, as before, we are discussing the case of horizontal oscillation. Similarly, here also get omega is root of k by m, and time period of hm is 2 pi by omega. So you can write 2 pi by into root of m by k, which you can write 2 pi into root of xc by k. Come on, take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. Take a pause and finish writing the notes up here. Next, I would like to solve a problem based on the vertical oscillations of the mass attached to the spring. So look at the problem on the screen. A 1 kg mass stretches an ideal spring by 0.8 meters in the equilibrium position. It is further pulled down by another 0.05 meter and released. Then it oscillates with a time period equal to dash. The acceleration due to gravity is given as 9.8 meter per second square. That means here the elongation of spring, the equilibrium position of the mass, which I denote by xc, is 0.8 meters. The mass of block is given to 1 kg. It is further pulled down by another 0.05 meters and released. That means the mass goes down below the equilibrium position, distance of 0.05 meters before it starts oscillation. That means it starts oscillating from rest. And from the position, suppose this is the equilibrium position of the mass. Where net force on the mass is 0. the distance between the equilibrium position and the lowest position for oscillations gives you the magnitude of the displacement amplitude. At the lowest position during oscillation velocity. So the mass is further pulled down by 0.05 meters below this equilibrium position and released. Means you can assume that it is released from rest. So this corresponds to one of the extreme positions for oscillation. The distance between one of the extreme positions during the oscillations and equilibrium position is the magnitude of the displacement amplitude. That means you are given the magnitude of the displacement amplitude as 0.05 meters or 5 centimeters. But time period of SHM is independent of amplitude of oscillations. So you don't require the value of amplitude or mass of the block to find the time period of SHM. Let's discuss the time period of SHM can be written as for spring mass system 2 root of m by k. In the case of vertical oscillation, this you can write as the equilibrium position of the block kx equal to mg in magnitude, or m by k can be written as xe by g. So xe equal to 0.8 meters, g is 9.8 meter per second square. So if you simplify this, you get the time period of oscillations as 4 pi by 7 seconds. That's the answer. Come on, those who want to copy the solution of the problem, they can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. This problem was given originally 1985 MCET exam, long back. It's a common exam for both medical and engineering entrance. The multiple choice model, which I have not given the multiple choices here. One of the options, the correct answer is given as 4 pi by 7 seconds. Like to do one problem based on one question based on same problem. The next problem is also based on the same discussion, where you are asked to find the maximum speed of the block during the oscillations. And also speed of the block at a particular position when it is at some distance below the equilibrium position. Come on, those who want to copy the solution of the problem can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. I'd like to discuss the next question based on the same problem. So in the previous, the next problem 8, that is based on same question. The previous question, what is the speed of the block when it reaches the equilibrium position? Second part of the question, when the spring is stretched by 0.825 meters from its natural length. So in the equilibrium position means mean position. The magnitude of the velocity of the block will be maximum at the mean position or equilibrium position. So magnitude of the velocity of the body in simple harmonic motion is maximum at the mean position or equilibrium position, which you can write it as A into omega, where A is the displacement amplitude and omega the angular frequency of oscillations. Already we discussed the time period of oscillations. We got 4 pi by 7 seconds. In the question problem number 7. The time period of SHM we can write 2 pi by omega. So we can write omega equal to, simplify this, 7 by 2 per second. Pi gets cancelled both sides. So maximum velocity during the oscillations at the mean position is equal to A into omega. The amplitude of oscillations is 5 centimeters or 0.05 meters. Omega is 7 by 2 per second. The magnitude of velocity at the equilibrium position will be 35 by 2 centimeter per second, or you can write 17.5 centimeter per second as the answer for the first question. For first problem, first question, first part of the problem 8. or you can write 0.175 meters per second in the 5 units. In the second part of the question, we're asked to find speed of the block at the instant when the spring is stretched by 0.825 meters from its natural length. The longest spring in the equilibrium position is 0.85 meters. Let L0 denote the natural length of spring. The longest spring in the equilibrium position have denoted by X subscript E, which is equal to 0.8 meters. The longest spring equilibrium position. But to find the speed of the block at the instant the spring is stretched by 0.825 meters from the natural length. Let X denote the magnitude of the displacement of the block from the equilibrium position. At the instant when the spring is stretched by 0.825 meters from the natural length. So therefore, in the second part of the question, X plus XE can be taken as 0.825 meters. So X, from that you can write X equal to 0.825 meters minus XE. 0.825 minus 0.8 meters. And that will be 0.025 meters. You try to complete this problem by using the formula V equal to omega into root of A square minus X square yourself. I will continue discussion next class.